In today's video, we're going to be playing the Rock, but with two new cards from Wilds of Eldraine. The first card is Elvish Archivist, which is a 2-mana 0/1 that says whenever an artifact enters the battlefield, put 2+1/+1 counters on it. And whenever one or more enchantments enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card. And the other new card is Mosswood Dread Knight. This is an adventure card that has a 2-mana sorcery that says draw a card and you lose a life. And on the front half, it is a 3/2 trample. But the thing that's so special about this is whenever it dies, you can cast the sorcery again. So we're going to be trying out these two new cards from Wilds of Eldraine and seeing if they're playable in Modern. Match 1, we are on the play and our starting hand looks quite strong. We're going to go turn 1, tap 2. Oh, and our opponent misclicks here, not playing out anything on their first turn, discarding a Steam Vent. So we'll play out our Urborg and then we'll play out our Archivist into a Mishra's Bauble. And that puts 2+1/+1 counters on our Archivist. In the upkeep, we bobbled them. It looks like we're up against a Merfolk Gamer. Yep, and they go Spire Bluff into an Aether Vial. We draw a land and another Archivist. And while we could Witherbloom, I'm going to go Archivist into a Mishra's Bauble. Oh, they have a Subtlety. Interesting. That's fine. We'll bottom the Archivist. Then we'll play out Bauble and our Elvish Reclaimer. Then we'll attack in for 4. And in the upkeep, we'll look at their top card. Ina Master, the Pearl Trident. When it goes Mutavolt Pass, we top deck a land and a Reclaimer. We will cast out our Witherbloom fan, milling us for 3 and killing the Vial. When we find a Verdant, we'll play that out and we'll attack in with our Archivist. And we'll pass back. And on the incept, they do flash in a Hex Catcher. So we're going to activate our Reclaimer now, and we're going to draw a card with our Archivist. Oh man, this is so sweet. And we find another Saga as well. And it kicks out a Tide Shaper, which will kill our Urza's Saga. And they do attack in for 1 here. We top deck a removal spell. We'll play out our Saga. We draw a card with Archivist. Then we will attack in with the team. And opponent scoops up there, so let's get on to sideboarding. We're going to take out Haywire Might, now Spellbomb, and 2 Thoughtseize for 2 EEs and 2 Go for the Throat. Game 2, our hand's a little too awkward with a Bounce Land and a Saga, so we'll and this is a fine hand. We'll put back a Swamp. When it goes turn 1, Steam Vents into a Vial. Ooh, Archivist off the top. That's a good one. We'll go Blooming Marsh into a Springleaf Drum. When it plays an Otawara, we draw a Bauble. Fine draw. We will fetch Shock and then fire off a Witherbloom command, killing their Vial and milling us for 3. Wow, and we mill 3 lands. I guess we'll pick up a Verdant. And on our incept, they flash into Trickster. And they play out another Vial into a 3rd Vial. Ooh, Inquisition. Don't mind if I do. We'll play out our Elvish Archivist, play out our Saga, draw a card, fire off our Inquisition. I guess we'll take the Harbinger. Then we'll play out a Bauble, pumping our Archivist, and we're going to look at their top now. Oh, come on. Dismember, really? And they do fire off a Dismember, killing our Archivist, and attacking for 2. We find a Forest. We'll play that out, play our Reclaimer. Then we'll fire off a Bloodchief's Thirst on their Trickster, and we'll make a Construct now. Wow, they have an Abrade. Archivist off the top. Let's go. That's so good. We're going to make a Construct, and we're going to cycle away this Saga, picking up another Saga. I guess we'll take a Shadow Spear here, play out our Verdant, and pass the opponent. And on the incept, they Violin a Lord. Our attacks in for 2. We're down to 11. We find another Archivist. All right, well, I know I should probably make a Construct, but I'm going to play out 2 Archivists here. And then we'll play out an EE for 0, triggering both of our Archivist and growing our Construct. And then we'll attack in for 4. They play a Spreading Seas on our Saga, and we are going to cycle it in response, finding another Saga, denying them a draw. And they scoop it up before we get to draw 2 more. What a great showing from Archivist. Let's get on to match 2. Match 2, we are on the draw, and hand looks quite good. Opponent goes turn 1, Water Your Grave into Haywire Might and a Bauble. We top deck a Saga, we'll play out Urborg and fire off an Inquisition. I guess we're taking the Emery here. I'm not sure, this has got to be some like sort of combo deck. And on our incept, they bobble us, playing out a Saga into a Agatha's Cauldron. Then they exile their Emery. Oh, wait, this is so sick. Getting back a Bauble. I didn't even realize this. That's actually so dope. We find another Saga. We will play out our Forest. Then we'll cast out a Witherbloom command, killing their Cauldron and milling us. And we don't hit a land? Ah, come on. Someone plays out a Misty into a Bauble. And they fetch out a Breeding Pool, shocking it and attacking for 2. And it looks like they're not going to play out Grist. Find a land. We will play out our Archivist. Then we'll play out a Saga, drawing a card. And then they flash into Bowmasters, killing it. And then also sacrifice a Haywire Might, killing our Saga. Pretty good. We'll play out a Bauble, and in their main phase before Saga goes, they do make a Construct, picking up a Springleaf Drum. They play out a Verdant and attack in for 3. Ooh, Thoughtseize. We will take that, fire that off, and they flash in another Bowmasters. And yeah, we'll take the Grist. I think we're actually in a pretty playable position here. We'll play out our Saga, and then play out an Elvish Reclaimer. They play out their island into a Bauble, and they attack in for 6. And then they also bobble our top card, and we find another Bauble. We'll play out a Tap Tomb, Tomb, play out our Bauble, and hold up Urza's Saga activations. They play out a Cookbook, and attacking with just the Construct and the Orc Army, so we'll make a Construct, and we're gonna go for a double block on the Construct. And they end up taking out our Reclaimer, and we go down to 2. And they pass back, we top deck a land. It's actually an amazing draw. We'll make a Construct, then we will pick up a Shadow Spear, play out our Swamp, equip the Shadow Spear to a Construct, and then attack in for 6. Yeah, they do pick up the Haywire Might, sacrificing their Cookbook. That makes a lot of sense. They play out a Saga, and they play out a Haywire Might into another Cookbook, and another land for us. Not a great draw. So we'll attack in with the team. Block the Haywire Might to the one with Trample, and then I'm guessing they're going to sack it. Yeah, take out our Shadow Spear, and they're down to 8. So then we'll play out our land into a Mosswood Dread Knight, and no attacks from the opponent. Bauble. All right. We will play out our Bauble, and we're going to attack them with our Constructs. And they make a Construct and discard a Forest to their Underworld Cookbook, and they double block our Construct. We'll kill their Construct. And their main phase, they make another Construct, and they pick up an Aether Spellbomb. Okay, that's a good one. And I think we're going to just attack in with the team here, and they make these blocks. This is fine. Then we'll cast a Witherbloom command, going to destroy and mill. Yeah, and they see the line of making a food. All right, well, now we have to cast our thingy with our with our Dread Whisper from the yard. Hopefully they draw into something. And an Archivist, I don't think is going to do it. So they got us. Let's get on to sideboarding. We're going to take a Blood Chief's Thirst, 2 Dread Knight, 3 Bauble for a Pithy Needle, 2 EEs, a Choke, a Terra Sunder, and a Haywire Might. And our starting hand is interesting. I will keep it though. We'll lead on turn 1 Urborg into a Thoughtseize. And this is a pretty easy Emery take. One goes turn 1 Delta into an Underworld Cookbook, playing out a Bauble. And they look at our top right now, seeing another Thoughtseize. So yeah, we'll definitely fire that off. Yeah, and I'm going to take up Bowmasters. I think I'm more concerned about that than an Asmo. One plays out a Forest, then activates Cookbook, and then plays out an Asmo, and playing out a Cookbook. So on the end step, we will push our Asmo. And another land for us, we'll play that and pick up our Giganta. Nothing from the opponent, another land for us. And on the end step, they flash into Bowmasters, and we will respond with a Bowmasters of our own. Top deck an Inquisition, and we're just going to fire off our Giganta here. Again, nothing from the opponent, we will fire off an Inquisition. All right, well, let's take a Grist. Then we will play out our Archivist into a Nihil Spellbomb, and we'll attack in for 6. And no blocks from the opponent. They find a Saga, that's so good. Then they play out a Grist. Ticking up. Are you getting 3 activations? Oh my gosh. And on the end step, we'll pop our Spellbomb, get another yard, and draw in a card. And a Witherbloom command for us. All right, we're going to fire off our Witherbloom. I guess we'll fetch first. Picking up a Tapped Tomb, fire off our Witherbloom. We'll mill us and destroy their Underworld Cookbook. No Saga for us. So we'll fire off our Inquisition, taking their Call of the Death Dwellers. Oh, they end up activating their Cookbook, getting a food. Makes sense. And we'll play our Verdant, and we'll go to combat. Guess attacking Grist with our Giganta. Yep, and they do make a jump block. They downtick their Grist, killing our Giganta. Then they pass back. Another Witherbloom for us. All right, come on. Give us a Saga, please. Mill ourselves, kill a Cookbook. And they do push our Archivist in response. Interesting. And we do find a Saga. We'll play it out, but we're pretty certain that they're going to kill it anyways with a Haywire Might that they find. And they make a Construct. Picking up a Pithy Needle makes some sense. And they tick up with Grist. Attacking in, and we'll jump block with our army. Ooh, Haywire Might off the top, baby. Let's go. We will play that out and pass back. They attack in with everything. We'll block with our Haywire Might and then sack it, trying to kill their Pithy Needle. They tick up with their Grist, getting a go for the throat, and then finding a land. All right, let's make a Construct. And a Pithy Needle off the top. Actually kind of nuts. We'll pick up our Shadow Spear, equip that to one of our Constructs, play out a Pithy Needle, and we're going to name Grist. Then we'll attack in for 5. Opponent plays out an Agatha's Cauldron with no creatures in the yard. That's pretty sweet. Oh, wait. No shot. Wait, does this do it for all creatures? Then they sacrifice an insect, getting rid of our Pithy Needle, which was naming a Grist. And in our upkeep, we will thin our deck a tad bit here. Another land. F. All right, well, we'll play out our Swamp and pass back to the opponent. They activate their Cauldron, exiling our Giganta. And oh my goodness, that's so funny looking. Then they tick up with their Grist and play out an Oval Chase. And a Fatal Push off the top, and we'll attack their Grist. They double block, killing our Construct, then we'll just equip our Bowmasters. And they ultimate their Grist, activating their Cauldron and trying to put a +1/+1 counter on one of their insects, and we will Fatal Push that. Oh, wait, I didn't realize it gives all of them. Oh my goodness, that's so sick. Come on, good draw. Fatal push. That's not great. And I guess we have to fire off our push now on this insect. This is so sad. And they sacrifice it to get rid of our shadow spear. They activate Cauldron, getting a few abilities on this insect. And they mill over another Grist, getting some abilities. Boseiju kind of does the trick. Oh no, they unearth an Asmo. All right, we need an engineered explosive off the top, and I actually think we might be able to stabilize. Yeah, and they attack it with the team, so we're just going to jump off with our Bowmasters. Going down to 6, so we need a draw here. Please give me an EE versus Saga. Well, our opponent has us. We'll play out our Saga, and we will scoop it up. Let's get on to match number 3. Match 3, we are on the draw, and hand looks quite good. Opponent goes turn 1 Bloodstained, fetch Shock out of Sacred Foundry into a Swift Sphere. Looks like we're up against Burn here. We top deck a Bowmasters, so we'll play out one of these baubles. We're actually going to bauble ourselves. If there's a land on top, we're not going to play out the other one, but there isn't, which there is not. We're actually going to just play this bauble out. Seen a Riftbolt. Oh no, still not a land, please. Opponent plays out a Mesa into a Spike, attacking in for 2, and we're just going to push this Swift Spear now. Then they suspend a Riftbolt post-combat. Oh, thankfully we do find a land. And we're just going to play it out tapped and play out a Haywire Might. We can even Bowmasters our Haywire Might to gain some life if we want. And their upkeep, they bolt us. Then they play out a Sunbaked Canyon, and we're going to pass holding up Bowmasters. And on our instep, they do Boros Charm us. And in response to this, we're going to flash in our Bowmasters. And we're actually going to shoot our Haywire Might just to gain 2 life, which means we're going to be at 11. They play a Mountain, passing back. We'll play out our Marsh and attack in for 2. And we're not going to fire off a Thoughtseize. They crack their Canyon. We'll flash in a Bowmasters. And in response to that, they do Skull Crack us. So then we will shoot them, and then we get 2 triggers off of the draw, shooting them for another 2. They play out a Tarn. We top deck a Springleaf Drum, and we're going to lead on a Witherbloom Command, draining them and milling us. Wow, that resolves, so we're up to 10. We'll play out our Verdant, play out the Springleaf Drum, and we're going to hold back 1 Bowmasters just to be safe. And in combat, they have a Searing Blaze taking out our Bowmasters, so we're down to 7, and opponent's down to 4, and we're not going to fetch to go down to 6 to play out a Dread Knight. And opponent scoops it up. Let's get on to sideboarding. We're going to take out 4 Thoughtseize, a Spellbomb, and a Bauble for Terra Sunder, 2 EEs, a Haywire Might, and 2 Go for the Throne. Game 2, our hand just is 2 land lights, so we'll mull. And this hand looks quite impressive. We're actually going to put back a Shadow Spear. They lead on turn 1 Mountain into a Swiftie. Another Fatal Push for us. We'll cast out our Bauble, look at their top, see a Riftbolt, and we're going to shock in our Overgrown Tomb and push now. They play out a Mountain and suspend a Riftbolt into Lava Spiking us. Top deck an Archivist. We'll play out our Saga, then fire off an Inquisition. Wow, Z, woos, wows, wows. Okay. Now I wish I played out my Archivist. They bolt us an upkeep. They play out a Canyon, and we draw Bowmasters. We'll just pass back holding up Bowmasters. And on the instep, they do crack their Canyon, so we'll flash in a Bowmasters, and we'll ping them for 1. They play out a Tarn into a suspended Riftbolt. Haywire Might off the top. We'll float a mana off Saga, picking up our Shadow Spear, and we will equip our Orc Army. And unfortunately, that does meet a Searing Blaze. So we'll attack in for 1. And their upkeep, they bolt us. They fire off a Lava Spike, putting us down to 2, into a Skull Crack. Unfortunately, let's get on to game 3. Game 3, our hand looks quite strong. We'll lead on turn 1 Verdant. They go turn 1 Sunbaked Cannon into a Guide, and this reveals an EE. We'll play out Saga and hold up Go for the Throne. They play out another Goblin Guide and attack in, revealing a Fatal Push. So we'll fire off a Go for the Throat on one of them. Then after combat, they fire off a Skewer. We pick up a Fatal Push. We'll play out our Blooming Marsh and pass the opponent. They attack in for 2, showing a Mistress Bauble. So we're going to go down to 10, and on the end step, we'll make a Construct. And they fire off a Smash to Smithereens now on this. This is so awkward. And I sadly think we need to make a Construct here. I don't really like it, but I don't think we have a better option. And we'll pick up a Shadow Spear, play out a Bauble, and then play out an EE for 0 into a Rot Farm, bouncing our Blooming Marsh. They play a land into another Smash. And we know they have all spells in hand, so I just couldn't imagine us being able to win from here. Guide reveals a Bauble for us. Yep, and they have a Bolt to finish us off. Unfortunate. Well, losing GOYF does make this matchup much worse, but anyways, let's get on to match number 4. Match 4, we are on the play, and our hand looks quite strong. We're going to lead on turn 1 Bauble, looking at our own top, and we do not want a 4th land, so we're going to fetch Shock that away, and then fire off a Thoughtseize. I think we got to take their Fable here, just by far the best card in hand, and we find another land. An opponent goes fetch Shock for a Ragavan. Bauble for us, we will play out our Reclaimer, play out our Swamp into a Bauble. Opponent plays out a Swamp into a Terminate on the Reclaimer, so we will fire off a push on the Ragavan, then fire off a bauble, looking at their top. Oh no, it's a Feign Death. That is spooky. We find a Witherbloom command and a Elvish Reclaimer, so we will mill us, drain them. We pick up another land, and we'll fetch out a forest and play out our Reclaimer. An opponent evokes out a Grief. Let's go. Easy dubs, and I use the Undying effect on it. Nice lands in hand, opponent. That's like a 3-for-1 basically, and that also means that they aren't using that on a Fury, and their last card in hand is a Fury, so I'm feeling okay about this game. All right, we'll play out a Tap Tomb. They attack in for 4, and on the end step, we will cycle one of our tombs into an Urza Saga. Springleaf Drum's not a bad pickup. We'll play out our Verdant, play out our Springleaf Drum, then pass back. They play out a Dothi into a Thoughtseize, but they knew our last card, and they attack in. And on the end step, we will make a Saga, then fetch out a Swamp, and then cycle another land for a Saga, another land for us. We're gonna float a mana off of one of the Sagas. Oh, and we don't have our Shadow Spear. I guess we will pick up a Nihil Spellbomb, make a Construct, then play out a bounce land, picking up our forest, and we'll attack in for 4. An opponent evokes out a Fury, which means that they're going to be able to kill our Construct here. So we're going to have to find a removal spell or else we're just dead. All right, come on, Fatal Push. Oh, wait, we don't get a draw because of Dothi. Oh, I'm so bad. I lost this game. All right, whatever. Let's get on to sideboarding. We're going to take out 4 Thoughtseize, 2 Inquisition, and a Bauble for 2 Go for the Throat, Haywire Might, Bajuka Bog, Soulguide Lantern, and 2 Veils. Game 2, our hand is a little weak, but I will keep. We're going to rely on this Bauble hard and our Veil of Summer. On the upkeep, we will Bauble the opponent. They go turn 1 Cliffs into an Evoked Out Fury. And they have a turn 1 8/8, but if we find a black source, we can buy a bunch of time with Orcish Bowmasters. All right, well, that's that's a card. We'll play out a Soulguide Lantern and exile their Feign Death. And they attack in for 8. And on the end step, we will cycle our Soulguide Lantern. Oh my Bowmasters. Please give me a black source. I hate this game. We'll play out our Spellbomb, and then we'll play a bounce land, picking up our Saga. And they do fire a Bowmasters off on our end step, and I think we're just dead here. I think I should have led on turn 1 Soulguide Lantern. Whatever. I'm so rusty with this deck. Oh no, do they even have a Blood Moon? Yeah, they do. All right, well, we will put GG's in the chat. Opponent definitely slammed us here, but let's get on to match number 5. Apologies. Match number 5, we're on the draw, and we will keep our hand. We'll lead on turn 1 Blooming Marsh. And opponent goes turn 1 Mountain into a Goblin Guide. We got the burn matchup again. Come on, let's get our revenge. Giving us a Bauble. All right, well, we will push this Goblin Guide. Then we'll play out our Bauble, getting a nice 2/3. Hopefully they don't have a Searing Blaze. So unfortunate. All right, we'll look at their top, seeing a Lava Spike. Inquisition's a huge pickup here. We'll fire that off. These Swift Spears are terrifying, so we'll take 1. Then we will play out our Bloodstained Mire, fetch out a Swamp, then fire off a Witherbloom command, gaining and milling. And unfortunately, no Saga, so let's just pick up a Rot Farm. Opponent suspends a Riftbolt and then plays out a Monastery Swift Spear, attacking us for 1. We find a Bauble, we'll play out a Rot Farm and pick up a Swamp, and we'll fire a Bauble off now, seeing a Sunbaked Canyon. Another land for us, and in the upkeep, they bolt us. Then they fire up a Lava Spike, taking us down to 11, into another Spike, and they attack in, so we'll flash in our Bowmasters, and we'll ping them for 1, and we'll throw our army under the bus. And a Fatal Push is actually a huge draw here. We'll buy our Gigantha, play out our tap land, and pass the opponent. I guess we will attack in for 1, actually. Opponent fires off a Rift Bolt, taking us down to 5, then attacks in for 2, and we will push their Swifty. Archivist, not a good one. We'll play out our Gigantha, then play out a Tap Tomb, and attack in for 1. This is a close game. Nothing from the opponent. We draw a Mosswood Dread Knight. I guess we'll fire off the draw a card and lose a life. And we find a Bowmasters. Wait a moment. Okay, we will attack in with the team, and unfortunately, we can only put them down to 2 with the Bowmasters. And they draw a card. Okay, we will flash in our Bowmasters, and we're going to put them down to 1. But I wish we had a way to kill them. And I think we're just going to be coming up a little bit too short here. And on the inset, they do bolt us. They play a land. No! That was such a close game. All right, let's go on to sideboarding. We're going to take out 4 Thoughtseize, a Spellbomb for Engineered Explosives, Haywire Might, and 2 Go for the Throat. Game 2, our hand's a little slow again, but we will keep. And we'll lead on turn 1 Verdant. Then it goes turn 1 Sunbaked Canyon into a Goblin Guide. Please give us a land guide. Still no dice. All right, we have a Haywire Might. We will fetch out a Forest, then play out our Archivist into a Mistress Bauble. We bauble the opponent, seeing a Skullcrack on top, good to know about. And no land for the opponent. Opponent suspends a Rift Bolt and then plays out a Bloodstained Mire. Haywire. Lava spiking us. Draw another Witherbloom. Ooh. All right, we will fire off Witherbloom. We will gain and mill, picking up a Verdant. Then we'll fetch out a basic Swamp, and we'll play out a Haywire Mite, growing our Archivist to a 4/5. On the upkeep, they built us. They play out a Mountain into a Goblin Guide, passing back another land for us. We'll fire off an Inquisition. They fire off a Boros Charm, so we'll take a Skullcrack. Then we will play out a Witherbloom command, draining and gaining. So we'll pick up a Peat Land, play a tapped Blooming Marsh, and pass back. They crack their Canyon, play out Advantage. Nothing really helping us out here. We'll crack our Peatland. Springleaf Drum, that's fine. And now we will attack in with our 6/7. If they chump block, then we'll play out our Mosswood Dread Knight. No attacks from the opponent. We will fire off Go for the Throat on the Goblin Guide, and then attack in with the team and pass back. And they scoot up there, so let's get on to game 3. Game 3, our starter is pretty strong. Opponent goes turn 1 Advantage into a Swiftie. Another land for us. We'll play out Marsh, and then fire off our Blood Juice Thirst. Another land for us. We'll play out our Swamp into an Archivist, playing out our Bauble. And our end step, they fire off a Boros Charm. We bobble them in the upkeep, seeing an Islet. They don't play that out. They fire off a Lava Spike, another Witherbloom for us, into a Bowmasters. We'll play out a tap Tomb, then attack in for 2. And they fire off another Boros Charm on the end step. So we're just going to flash in our Bowmasters now. Gonna plays out an Islet. Ooh, okay, we'll take this EE. We'll play it out, growing our Archivist. Then we'll fire off a Witherbloom, which I'm fairly convinced is not going to actually gain us life. And I am correct. We'll pick up a Blooming Marsh. Then we will attack with everything except for the Orc, I believe. Yeah, I don't think attacking with the Orc does anything here. Then we'll play tap land, passing back. Okay, Skull Crack. Please don't top deck a burn spell. Crack your land. Yes, yes, yes. Ping them for 1. Please, please, please give me the win. No! A 1/4 for us. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, overall, I do actually think the Archivist has some legs. As for the Dread Knight, that was so bad this entire league. I do think that maybe there are some numbers where you can skew it like 2 to 3 Archivist and like 4 GOYFs, but Tarmogoyf is the best 2-drop in green. It's just ridiculously powerful. The rest of this list I think is fairly strong. I really do think Tarmogoyf would have won us a lot of other games. It's really good against Scam right now. It's really good against Burn. We played against Burn twice, Scam once, and then I don't remember what else we played against. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.